All right, today we are diving deep into a pretty intense world. We're going inside a training ground where people learn how to think, act, and hack just like a criminal, all so they can become better defenders. It's a boot camp designed to forge the digital world's ultimate protectors.
You know, it's a question that every company, every organization has to ask itself. How do you find your weaknesses before the bad guys do? Well, it turns out the best way to build a stronger defense is to really truly understand the offense. And that's the whole idea behind a security field known as red teaming.
So, what are red teamers? Basically, they're ethical hackers. They get paid to act exactly like a real-world attacker would, to probe for cracks in the armor, to find ways through the digital walls. But here's the key difference. Instead of stealing data or causing chaos, they write a report. They show the organization exactly where the holes are and how to patch them up.
Now, becoming a red teamer isn't a long, drawn-out process. At least, it doesn't have to be. This particular bootcamp crams everything into just 8 weeks. We're talking a super intensive sprint with live, hands-on sessions designed to take someone from novice to pro in record time.
So where do you even start? Well, you start where the action is. The training kicks off on the most common digital battlefield there is, the web. I mean, think about it. Almost every company has a website or a web app, which makes it a prime target for attackers, and the perfect place for these recruits to start building their toolkit.
And this isn't some abstract theoretical stuff. The training is grounded in the real world. Students have to master what's known as the OWASP Top 10. OWASP is the Open Web Application Security Project, and their list is basically a globally recognized countdown of the absolute worst, most critical security risks out there. You could call it the attacker's greatest hits album.
And they don't just read about these things, they actually do them. This is where they get their hands dirty. For example, they'll learn SQL injection, which is a fancy way of saying they learn how to trick a website's database into spilling all its secrets. They use real-world tools like SQL Map to automate it and see just how devastating a seemingly small vulnerability can be.
Okay, so after they've gotten a handle on web attacks, they move on to the big one, the absolute nerve center of most corporate networks, Active Directory. The best way to think about it is like a digital city's master key system. It controls who everyone is and what doors they can open. If an attacker gets control of Active Directory, well, they basically own the keys to the entire kingdom.
And this right here, this is the classic playbook for taking over a network. First up, reconnaissance, where they use tools to draw a map of the entire company's digital infrastructure. Then, they start harvesting credentials, basically tripping the network into handing over usernames and passwords. From there, they attack the core authentication system itself. And finally, they use those stolen keys to move sideways through the network until they hit the jackpot, domain admin status, which means total absolute control.
But, you know, hacking in the real world isn't just about traditional corporate networks anymore. The battlefield has gotten way bigger. It's expanded into the cloud and onto those little devices we carry around in our pockets. So, naturally, the training has to keep up.
Students learn how to attack the big 3 cloud providers, Amazon's AWS, Microsoft's Azure, and Google's GCP. And a lot of the time, they're focusing on really common, simple mistakes. Things like the infamous leaky S3 bucket, which is just a case of someone accidentally leaving a folder of sensitive company data totally open to the public internet. It's a simple error that has led to some absolutely massive data breaches.
And from the massive, sprawling world of the cloud, the fight shrinks all the way down to the device that's probably in your pocket right now. The mobile security part of the course teaches students how to literally take apart Android and iOS apps to find their hidden weak spots.
I mean, this shows you just how deep they go. Students use these incredibly powerful tools to do things like bypass an app's security measures. This lets them listen in on traffic that's supposed to be secure and encrypted. In this lab, they actually steal these digital keys or tokens that could give them access to someone's account or private data. It's pretty wild.
Okay, so at this point, the students are basically walking encyclopedias of exploits. They have the technical skills down, but a real-world attacker is more than just a bag of tricks. They have a strategy. They know how to stay hidden, and that's where the training pivots, to focus on stealth and what's called operational security, or OPSEC.
And to do that, they learn from the ultimate hacker's playbook, the MITRE ATT-CK framework. Seriously, think of it like a giant public database of every single hacker tactic and technique ever documented. By using this playbook, students can plan their attacks using the very same methods that real adversaries use out in the wild.
Right.
And a huge part of any real attack is staying in control of the machines you've compromised without getting caught. That's done with something called a command and control framework, or C2 for short. It's like the hacker's secret hotline. Students get to play with all different kinds, from the industry standard to newer open source tools, all to learn how to keep that connection alive and stay invisible.
And that brings us to the climax of the whole journey. All those skills they've learned, web, network, cloud, mobile, strategy, stealth, it's all about to be put to the test in one final, live-fire, capstone engagement. This is the Super Bowl of the bootcamp.
And just look at this schedule. It's absolutely relentless. On Monday, the teams get their target and start their recon. By Wednesday, they are launching actual phishing campaigns to get their first foothold. By Friday, they're supposed to be deep inside the network, moving around and stealing data. And it all culminates with a final report due on Sunday. No pressure, right?
But, it doesn't end with the final exam. Breaking into the target is only half the battle. The last part of this whole journey is about turning all this intense training into an actual career, transforming these students into pros who are ready for the job market.
And the prep for that is just as intense and practical as the hacking. Get this, they go through a 15-minute mock technical interview with a panel of instructors. Think about that. 15 straight minutes of rapid-fire technical questions designed to simulate the high-pressure hot seat of a real job interview. There's no hiding.
So when they finally graduate, they don't just walk away with some knowledge and a certificate. They leave with a whole arsenal of career assets. We're talking a professional report from that final project, a portfolio showcasing their work, a resume built specifically for these kinds of roles, and, maybe most importantly, the confidence that they've been tested and are ready for the real world.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? As our entire world gets more and more connected and the threats get more sophisticated, are these kinds of intense, hands-on boot camps becoming the new front line? Are they the key to training the next generation of digital defenders we so desperately need?